Yeah, that's a completely different
Feel.
feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got
Exactly.
lazy and then went over. But then when I
Yeah, you put most of them in there. I got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right?
So what's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Den Media Group presents Signing Day Recap. I got some of the best new faces with fresh perspectives, guys that I work with on a weekly basis or I can converse with. Everybody's known them on the timeline. They brought positivity, they brought intelligence, they brought trolling, they brought fun, and all kinds of laughter for us to be able to discuss and talk about what is actually going on with this signing class. For those who are new to this channel, there's going to be some lingo that you got to get hip to. But this is my fucking channel, so I talk how I want to talk, and I follow other people's rules when they're there. Now, a couple things. If you're new, I would please like you to go click subscribe. If you go there, click the subscribe button, click the alert button. Right now, we are 115 subs away from 4,000. I said this: if we get to 4,000 on this show, we will do a random $400 drawing. So anybody, you'll get an opportunity to put your. I'll tell you, we're at 4,000. You can put your Cash App or your PayPal or whatever it is. We'll get that little Wheel of Fortune shit going on, and we will give you the bread as long as you are a member. Once we get to the 4,000, once we get that, we also give away however many likes this show gets. So if we get 4,000 members and we have 100 likes, somebody will win $400 and somebody will win $100 also. So unlike other people, I pay my bets. I pay my oh shit. My bad. I'm gonna say that I owe CJ money. CJ, I got you from the tailgate. My fault. I forgot all about that shit. Bottom line is we do this. Now, there's also going to be people in the chat. If you notice, we are colored people's chat. Now, that doesn't mean anything what you think it is. I don't like the whites talking in my chat. If you're white in my chat, that just means you're not a member. And I'm joking about that, but my greenies get talked about. If you're not a greenie, you can also do the super chat. You can do a whole bunch of other different things. That will add it. What happens is it pops up onto the screen. It's fluorescent. It's all of those things. Membership levels begin at $3.99. They go all the way up to our all-in membership, which is 100. So, again, we encourage everybody to be a greenie. I got to get up tomorrow morning and deliver gifts for good grades in the hood. The way when you guys are greenies, that helps my YouTube channel be monetized. That money goes toward mentors for the kids and buying gear. And I promise, sometime in the beginning of the week, the beginning of the new year, we will have brand new MFTK apparel coming out, because I think what happened was we haven't really done this in the last few years, and the message of MFTK got lost. MFTK is a Florida-owned, Florida publicly traded company. That's not really publicly traded, but it is a Florida business. It's Mentors for the Kids Foundation. It also stands for Man, Fuck Them Kids. And what we need y'all to do is apply this mindset. It will help you out a lot. But for those who don't know, I've got CJ Wilson with Dope Talk. And if you could take a second, please go subscribe to Dope Talk. He does a very, very good job of breaking shit down. CJ is a former football player. He is a Tallahassee native. He knows the game. We've got George with Renegade Report. Take a second. Go over there and like my guy George with Renegade Report. They're over 1,000 subs now. 1,000 subs now. Now we got to get. I know they probably have more than enough hours. Him and Jen have more than enough hours to be monetized. We need to get them paid. That's the goal. Get them paid in the shade. Because for those who don't know, tomorrow is YouTube Day. The 21st of every month is when YouTube payments come in. I cannot wait. I am fucking excited, like a kid on Christmas, or like some of y'all on signing day. We got my guy Chris with Sporadics, one of the a voice of change, and so doing so well that people hate on him on a daily basis. And then we've got the beautiful Jen. And this is the first time she's ever graced this my show, but she's also a greenie. She's always in the chat. She's always in the comments. She's with George with Renegade Report. They're doing a great time. Also, please share this. They're for my people who are watching this on Twitter. Don't tweet the comments. We can't hear those, or we can't read them. You must be on the YouTube channel in order for you to be seen. So I'm going to bring everybody up. I don't know if CJ's camera's not working, so I'm going to put him and Chris is up here now. So all right, so we're good. Everybody can come up when CJ gets his camera going and he's unmuted. I guess I muted you guys. I'm treating this like the spaces. Well, Chris muted himself. So, and Jen, you muted yourself as well. So, how are you guys doing today? Are you okay? Are you alive? Is everything good in your homes and your households? Did nobody beat their kids because we didn't sign anybody?
No, my kids.
Nobody on. My bad. I was gonna say nobody on suicide watch. I don't have kids, but I haven't beaten my dog or nothing. Everything's on the up and up over here, on the west side of the Panhandle, anyways.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What's going on with you, Jen? How are you doing on this fine early signing day Wednesday?
Well, I'm doing really good. I didn't have to beat my children, so I think that's a win for today.
That's good. What about you, Chris?
I'm doing good. My kids would whoop my ass if I tried to whoop them anyway. So, but no, I was good anyway. But did you just call me the white Obama of Florida State media? A voice of change?
I didn't say it with those words, but that sounds a lot better than what I said. So, like, from now on, I'm gonna call you the white Obama, which technically is Obama's half white. So even in a racist mind, he's half right. To quote Young Jesus. Shout out to Kobe. Shout out to not being in the whites only section, Kobe, and becoming a greenie, man. We appreciate you. Standing on business, my guy Kobe. Became a new member. Love that. So a lot of drama. Let's go back before we talk about today. Let's go back in time a little bit. Till Monday. In particular, I think Monday evening, and the fan base during this time was a little upset because Florida State's not really active in the transfer portal as they want us to be. And it seems like we're losing people every day, and it seems like guys are not doing what they need to do in the transfer portal. And it seems like guys are hitting it. We had Josh Farmer. We had a Josh Farmer fiasco. I say it's fiasco because it just seemed like on many different levels it was FUBAR, fucked up beyond any recognition. What do you guys' take on where Florida State in the moves that we've made so far in the transfer portal leading up to recruiting and our guys leaving us? Anybody?
I guess I can start or whatever, but yeah, man, look, I think my point of view is people need just to understand, and it's early. They're trying to wrap this quarterback situation up, and I think that's kind of the key to the transfer portal thing. They've got 7, 8 more high school recruits than they've been dealing with the first 3 or 4 years that Mike Norvell was here. And as much as everybody acts like the sky's falling, you only lost 2 guys, one of which that you actually thought was going to be in the class. I think their attention has been a little bit elsewhere. I think we're going to figure this quarterback thing out, and that you still end up getting 5 to 10 guys. I've predicted 10 to 12 guys. I think I might have been wrong, maybe a little less, but I think people just need to relax and realize that this portal game, there's 45 days total. There's still guys that are going to play bowl games and then opt out following their bowl games. I think we're right on track, and people are just overreacting, to be honest.
Now, Chris, with the portal, is it they have so many days to enter the portal and be taken out, or is it they have to enter the portal so that they don't have to sit out a year? Is that what it is, or once you, like, let's say I enter the portal now and I change my mind January 8th and I come back. Is there like a penalty for that, or what's the deal with the portal?
So I think there should be a penalty for doing that. But as long as they enter before the deadline, they're fine. They can take themselves out of the portal at any time once they enter, or they can also stay in the portal until that someone gives them the opportunity to commit to their school. But during the dead period, they don't have the opportunity to go on visits and stuff to that nature. But at the same time, grad transfers have the opportunity to do it whenever they want. They can enter the portal anytime they want. They can transfer anytime they want. But you don't have a lot of those doing that here at this point in time. So there's not, to my knowledge, there is not a penalty for taking yourself out of the portal other than maybe your school doesn't want you. But I don't know if the schools can just drop you like that. I think they have to kind of honor your scholarship if it's already been renewed at that point. So a lot of these kids are really smart about it, and a lot of questions have been asked about some of the offensive linemen that have entered and then took their names out of the portal. One from Alabama and Pritchard, and then the other one, and I forget where he was from, but both of them took their names out of the portal. Most people think that that's because, well, Alabama or so-and-so paid them, and the realization to that is it could be a numbers of things, but the rumors is that they didn't realize that they were going to have to pay back a bunch of money to the NIL collective.
Gotcha. Very good perspective on that. Before we get to Jen, C Black, thank you for your $5 donation. Cristobal is dog walking Norvell on a recruiting trail right now. Thank God Mario is a bad coach. We can maybe make comments. Do you have any comments? Did anybody have any comments to that? I am grateful for that last statement.
That's
That is
perfect for
the
Jen, man. That's just lined her right up.
Jen, what do you think about?
Look, yeah, this is a little bit of a layup. With all those 3 stars, I guess you should be dog walking Norvell. I mean, your class should be ranked higher because you've taken more 3 stars than any other team that's in the top 10 right now. And again, I don't care who Mario gets. You could put Tom Brady at quarterback as far as I'm concerned, and Mario is going to fuck it up. I'm sorry, am I allowed to cuss? I can't remember, but he's going to mess it up. He's going to mess it up. Mario won. I mean, God, can somebody get him a gift certificate to Victoria's Secret for Christmas? I would appreciate it, guys. Like, do it. Give him the gift card. I don't understand this obsession with what Miami is doing, because Miami has recruited really well over the last couple of years. They've absolutely out-recruited Florida State in the last couple of years. There's no question about that. There's no question. But what they haven't done is won a damn thing in 30 years. So go on, win your off-season championships, win your recruiting championships, keep on the internet, because that's the only place y'all are, because you're not in the stadium, you're not watching the games. And that's really all I have to say about that.
That's dope. Part of the reason when somebody asked, are we not talking about the bowl game yet? I think you got to read the room. Make sure I put that. That might have been me. I'm not as good at this making the YouTube video stuff as everybody else in here, but signing day recap is clearly the title of the show. And for those who don't know or are new to this, today is early National Signing Day. One of the things that we've also got to make sure, as I always say, is you can tell who you're getting your information from based upon how you view things and how you talk about things. If you are truly disappointed in this class, then you've probably been listening to Rival Spaces, a lot of other different things of that nature. When you look at what Florida State has been able to do with this class, you got to think we have a 91, a rating of 91. One of the higher rated classes. We've only signed. Currently, we have 22 players in this class. One of the few inside the top 10 that have that many players and are ranked as high as they are. And also, when you look at what Miami's done, Miami's damn near at 30. So I can't say that Mario is dog walking somebody when the rankings is literally a metric it's a points metric. So if you have more people, in theory, you should have more points. Anytime you sign 30 people, you should probably have a top 5 class. When you look at Georgia, I believe has the same amount of players, and they're the number 1 ranked class by a lot. So we won't get into that, but let's I got some things up here that I really want to get into. Actually, this is what we can show. So that I don't have to feel like I'm lying to the people. And I think CJ is going to be on here eventually. We got the recruiting team rankings. Maybe do I have enough space there? All right. So see how this looks. All right. So right here, we've got obviously Georgia's number 1. They've got 28 commits. Bama's 2 with 25. Ohio State recruiting class was so good that they kind of got pilfered and poached today, and they still are in the top 3 class. Oregon is up there. Texas. This is not updated though. We are definitely not 6. Okay, now it's updated. We are the 9th ranked class behind, again, a team with 20, 28, 25, 22. We have a bunch of people in front of us. But when you look at where we're at, we still have one of the higher ranked averages when it comes to that. But what I wanted to talk about is the players in which we have in this, starting with Luke Kromenhoek. What are you guys' opinions of QB1 and currently our highest ranked prospect in the 2024 class?
Yeah, I couldn't be more hyped about Luke, man. I think he's a guy who's only his second year starting at quarterback. There's not just a shitload, a ton of film out there of him. He's not playing in a high flying offense where he puts up crazy numbers. So he didn't have a ton of fanfare until he showed up at Elite 11 and just, knocked everybody's socks off this past summer. Absolutely killed it. Shot up the recruiting boards for a reason, for his potential, for what he's got between his ears. He's a son of a coach. His dad's the head coach of a, two-time national or state champion team. So really excited to get him on campus and Norvell to get his hands on him. He's somebody with a ceiling that's high enough that you could see him, battling for one, maybe two titles in his time at Florida State.
Yeah, he's the highest ranked quarterback since Jameis Winston. I think he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the class completely because he has the majority of time has played safety in high school. He's a state champion as of last year. If we would have lost him, I'd have been way more upset than if we lost KJ Bolden. I'm gonna be honest. I understand that KJ was ranked as our top athlete, our top recruit, but I would be much more pissed off if we would have lost Luke Kromenhoek, Cam Davis, Charles. I mean, not Charles, but Cam Davis. Even some of these wide receivers, I think people are sleeping on Elijah Moore big time. I know you're going to get to that. I'm just throwing out, some of the things that we're talking about. And I want people to remember, at one point in time, Luke Kromenhoek, Cam Davis, Landon Thomas, they were all ranked 5 stars. That did not take place of them dropping until later on in the season. And it's kind of not fair to Cam Davis out of most of all because he's having to play quarterback at his high school when he's a true running back. So it wilds me out with, some of the scenarios that some people are worried about when we've got, in my eyes, one of the best talented classes. That the composite score shows that. So that's why I'm not worried about this class whatsoever.
Nick Snyder, before we get to Jen's comment, brings up a good point. Georgia did definitely try to kick the tires on Luke. Luke made his tweet about what commitment means, those different things. Jen, do you have thoughts on Luke?
I love Luke. I've been such a huge fan of his. I think I talked to his parents, I think maybe it was a year ago or something, and just got to find out how they felt about the recruiting process with Mike and how it felt or what made them stick with it when things were going a little rough, right? And they're such a great family and he's such a great kid and he's so good, guys. I don't know. The fact that kid stuck with it, Georgia finally came calling and he still was 100% in this class, and Georgia needed a high school quarterback. So I think that a lot of fans are just not understanding that the game has changed. This isn't the same signing day of old anymore. It's totally different. It's very hard to hold, and I get it. Other schools get to hold on to their kids and other schools get to flip kids. And I know it feels like Florida State doesn't, because it's happened the last 3 years. But for me, I feel like if we would have lost Luke, if we would have lost, like you said, Cam, if we would have lost, I have my favorite, which is Ricky Knight, but that's neither here nor there. But I feel like if we would have lost some of those players, it would have been a lot worse. And people don't understand that.
Without a doubt. I remember when Luke committed. Luke was a quarterback. It was trained by my partner, Denny Thompson, and he talked about him on the same path that he's talked about Carson Beck. And I remember, actually not similar at all, but Carson Beck was actually a non-starter at a very small private school called Providence High School here locally in Jacksonville, but had all the attributes of what you wanted from a quarterback. Now he went to Mandarin, got coached up by the current head coach at Mandarin, Toby Bullock. He was the offensive coordinator then. He developed them. They ended up winning the state championship. They went on for it. I mean, Luke has some athleticism. He's also a tough SOB. But that's what happens when your dad's a linebacker, and I think his brother is like a defensive lineman at Maritime at the Massachusetts Maritime Academy. So a good family. Definitely a good Seminole family. One of those guys that can come in. I see in 3 years. Obviously, I think he'll take a shirt this year, but I believe he'll be trying to do. He'll be competing for a starting job. We'll get into some of these transfer. What we think about the transfer portal. What we're going to do in that here in a second. We got Charles Lester the third. Charles Lester definitely took advantage of our fan base's Chicken Little mindset. Anybody want to comment on the trolls that Charles Lester did?
All I know is I woke up this morning, I picked up my phone, I saw it, and I just put it right back down, and I was like, this cannot be real. So I'm going to step away for 10 minutes, and then once it happened, yeah, it was over. So.
Mine's hell of a job, young man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He read the room. He's been a Florida State solid for so long. He's been around town. He's been in town for the past couple of weeks, hanging out with the Knowles. He knows the deal. So he figured out how to 100x his engagement. So by putting one little text box in a graphic. So good on you, young man, and just really appreciate him sticking with the class and being such a big stalwart of it. He was a big part of getting a lot of those guys in the second, kind of the last quarter of that class that it made up.
A lot of people did not realize how, again, it's too easy to troll. I think that's one of the biggest problems with our fan base right now. Shout out to Victor West and my guy Sir 5 for becoming new members. Make sure y'all check out Big Games BS Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 9:30-ish. One of the biggest things that I wish our fan base could do is just kind of man the fuck up, or woman or adult the fuck up. I don't want to be misogynist. A lot of this shit is really just crazy. Like, I was just talking about this in the spaces. You literally have, shout out to Corey Watkins. You guys why do you want to be Miami so bad? Like, the goal is to win games. And not win. You need better players to win games, but we've definitely done that a lot. And the reality of the situation is, this team, this class is poised to be able to bring you back to those things and all of the stuff that you want. Look at this cornerback class or secondary. I mean, I say the secondary. You got Charles Lester III, Jamari Howard, Kai Bates, Ricky Knight is who Jen keeps discussing. It would have been great to have KJ Bolden in this, but let's talk about some other guys in here. Another kid who committed. Stayed the long haul, was a 5-star, somehow got bumped to a 4-star, and 247 gave the bullshit excuse of why they don't give running backs 5 stars anymore. Seems like after he committed, but whatever. And that's Cam Davis. Anybody got thoughts on Cam Davis or what they or what's going on with that?
I mean, besides if he had gone to Georgia like they wanted him to, he'd be a 5-star.
Yep.
Facts.
Sorry. That's it.
Yeah, he's just he's that dude. I can't wait for him to get in here. He's a absolute grown man. Anybody that's met him, if you came out to any of y'all's tailgates, I know at the spring tailgate, he spent a little bit of time talking to everybody. He's one of those guys that's ready to come right in and get accustomed to the college game, and I'm excited to see. We'll probably see a little bit more of him his freshman year than we saw out of Sam Singleton. And just to go back on what y'all said about, it stinks to lose KJ, but even like at running back, we don't have 5 other blue chip running backs in this class. We only have 1 quarterback. So yeah, as bad as it is losing KJ, you've got the parts filled. They got the necessities of what this staff was after in this class. So, absolutely. Cam is extremely underrated, and he should definitely be a 5-star. And it's a lot of them. Landon Thomas, the same thing. It's like whatever. But I'm not gonna scream conspiracy theory in the end of the world like these UF fans do about that, because it doesn't matter. Like we've all said, it's about winning on the field, and those dudes are gonna suit up in garnet gold, no matter what star rating they had.
Cam Davis is obviously impressive because he's built like Frank Gore already, and it's hard to impress the physique of the young man. But if you really talk to him about football, if you talk to him about the game, how big of a chess player he really is, and how much he understands of the situations that you get in the football game. Whereas, and if you are running an RPO system, or if you're running a wildcat, or just for I think that you can do a lot of things with Cam. If you go watch him play quarterback at high school, I know that he is not considered a quarterback for us, but if you go watch his play, the way that he understands offenses, defenses, excuse me, and understands how the offensive formation should be. He understands the schematics of, slide protections. He understands the pull. He understands all of that. I think it gives him an even better brain from playing quarterback to understand what he's reading when he's in the backfield getting ready to accept a handoff. He understands what the defense is trying to do, where the pressure is coming from, what hole he needs to hit, where the hole should be. I'm really impressed with Cam based off of his physique's great. The athletic ability is there. That's all great. We've had guys like that. The difference I think Cam brings to the table is he's got the understanding of what the defense is trying to do at all points of attack. So I think that the brain part of what Cam brings to the table is going to be extremely huge to Florida State. And I think it gets him on the field really early in his career here at Florida State.
Man, that Wildcat, he would like with Toa Feely having him back there. It's weird that it's like another Cam, and it reminds you so much of Cam Akers in high school playing quarterback. A similar thing.
Yeah, I definitely became more of a fan once I watched this film. Actually also got a chance to get and interact with him at tailgates, a lot of different things. Guy that we had a lot of fun with, and I want to talk about both of these guys together. Elijah McCoy, I believe, while he's our lowest rated 4-star, I think he might end up being one of the better wide receivers that we have in this class. But Luwane McCoy, if you listen to Big Games BS and you go through, one of the things I tell people who are just finding is go look at our shorts and you can get lost. Miles does a really good job of making me look funny and like an asshole at the same time. But when he committed, we talked about how he was just at Miami the weekend before, and the wide receiver coach at Miami liked him so much that he was twerking. Like they were dancing and doing some other little dance or some shit like that. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. So again, who knows what these Miami coaches are willing to do to get a top five class. I personally, as a grown ass man, am not willing to twerk for little boys. I think that could get you on one of them TV shows with Chris Hansen. And that's just not something that I want to be doing here. But I like Luwane. I love and I really, really like Elijah Moore. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, got the size of a college wide receiver, runs really, really good routes. Arguments between the University of Florida and Florida State about who's the number one wide receiver number one prospect in the DMV area. But I like the guy that we got. So and I'll go to what Jen was kind of talking about, and what I want you guys to name. We don't have a ton of them like Miami, but we have enough. Who is your favorite 3-star in this class, and who do you like?
I guess I'll start it off. Denos White, I'll bring him up. We just landed him. Here's a guy who's the third best defensive lineman in North Carolina. I think a lot of times people get caught up in, rankings as far as, he's only a 3-star. He's not this big 5-star recruit, but still within his state. He's a respected player, and I'm really excited to get him in here. I think he's a guy similar to a Josh Farmer, who after a couple years in the weight program at Florida State and getting taught by Odell Haggins and these guys, that he could be a real impact guy down the road, maybe in 25 and 26.
It's going to be hard for me to pick one, so I'm going to pick one on offense and one on defense. My one on offense is Camden Fryer. Also, if you look at him on 3, he's a 4-star. I had 247, he's a 3-star. But so are the multitude of other guys that they've got at 3-star and 247. Camden Fryer is going to bring something to the slot receiver position that I don't think Florida State's seen in quite some time. And I'm going to make it as simple as this. He's a cold-ass white boy, as simple as it gets. The kid is absolutely amazing at what he does. He's a hell of a blocker as a wide receiver. Fryer is obviously a legacy. His dad being Matt Fryer. I have a huge connection with that family because my dad played ball with Matt. So I really, really like Camden as for multiple reasons. His speed is great. His awareness is even better. He's also very impressive when it comes to being able to notice what the defense is trying to do, whether they're doubling him up, whether they're playing zone or playing man. It doesn't matter. He realizes what he's doing, and he usually calls back to Luke when they played together on what they're trying to do to him to lock him out of whatever route that he's supposed to be running in that play. And you'll see a lot of times when they do that Luke will push back and tell them what it is that needs to be done. So that they'll audible the play, and then you get him out on a quick dig or you get him out on a quick out route. And it's really nice to watch our wide receivers and running backs. And I think that's why this class is impressive. It's more about the mental aspect. And it's crazy because they're also physically gifted. Right. And if I had to pick someone on defense, it's going to be Parrish, the linebacker that nobody knows about.
Took mine.
Sorry. I apologize.
You took mine.
I'll tell you what, I'll just say that he's my favorite defensive player in this class, 3-star wise, but you can talk about him.
So I had a hard time coming up with these. It was going to be D.D. Holmes or Parrish for me. I'm going to go with Parrish because of the linebacker room, but I think this kid, y'all, he's really underrated. And if you watch him and close in on that speed, I know that it's a hard thing to see, but like this kid is really, really good. And there is a reason that all these other programs were after him. There's a reason that, man, I don't know. I really love this kid. I think he's going to be so good. And I really love D.D. Holmes too. So that was kind of a toss up for me on those two. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say, but I think with Jaden Parrish, I think his closing speed reminds me a lot of what we just saw from this year, Kalen DeLoach. That's all I'm going to say. And I just feel like that, like Kalen going up and making that play against Cole Kublik, or I can't even say his name. You know, I'm Southern. I can't say a lot of words properly. But it's that play for me with Parrish that tells me you can see it. You can see where that's going to come from. That kid can close really quick. That's my 2 cents.
I put this in there. I'll add to it real quick, James, if you're cool with it. I really like how Parrish covers tight end. He also covers running backs coming out of the backfield on wheel routes really well. I watched his film, how he blows up a lot of plays for offenses and causes quarterback to keep the ball and try to take it off for a run. And then, obviously the secondary as far as your safeties and stuff coming up and taking the quarterback out of the play as well. He takes a lot away from the field because of that closing speed. So I'm really impressed with what Parrish is able to do mentally to the quarterback. It's great that he's been able to cover it. It's great that he's been able to knock the dick straight off of somebody. But the better part of it is that he mentally just rapes quarterbacks. They don't understand why he knows where they're going before they go there. So I really like Parrish for that reason.
I like Dinas White. Hopefully I got a chance. Hopefully I did it right. Did y'all get a chance to see that pick 6 by Dinas? The video? I like big men scoring, man. That's a dope. You got to get Big D. You got to get Big D on the field, man, and have him scoring, man.
Nothing better than seeing Big D grab that ball and rumble all the way down the field and put that thing right in between the two.
Right in between. Awesome. Put the Big D right in between it with the Fuller D. If you don't have that Fuller D, it'd be a great opportunity for you to go to check out alphamelejacks.com to help you because a lot of you people seem to have very low testosterone, high estrogen. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a lady, you need to have that. But also if you're a lady and you're getting hormonal, going through menopause, they can definitely help you with hormone replacement therapy. We can help all of those different things for you to be able to live life and penetrate it very aggressively with the Fuller D. I'm with you guys. Another one, nothing better than DD. I like DD Holmes.
Yeah.
DD Holmes would be my favorite 3-star. He's 6'6". He's got length. He's got a little girth. He's 250 pounds, but he could be one of those guys that could be.
Down for the double stuff, baby. I've learned something new.
He could be
I could have just really said something that would have made everybody just fall out, and I didn't do it. So
oh man, you should have done it. You got somebody's got to be Chip here today, Jen. Somebody's got to say the inappropriate stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But
Chip is looking beautiful tonight. I'll tell you what.
He's a very good D lineman. We need body types like this, as my boy Grimes would say. If nothing else, the 3 stars, while they might not be able to be on the field, they are body types that you can develop. I believe Jaden Parrish and Tamir Collins will be 2 guys that could be good. Personally, I would love to see some more blue chip guys in those areas, but it's fine. But I think I'm going to go with Ricky Knight. Ricky Knight is somebody that one of my teammates who we had on Big Games BS when we had the snub from the national championship. And Brian McFadden, I believe B-Mac played 10 years in the NFL, 2-time Super Bowl winner. He is really a big fan of him. I'm going to go with the guy who knows about DB play. So I'm going to go with that right there. One of the questions that we keep getting in the chat currently is somebody said, Chip, what did you do with your hair? That's the new filter. That's the new StreamYard filter that you can put on.
I mean, if y'all want me to say it, I'll say it, but I don't want to, get in trouble. So
I can't find. Listen, this show, in case you didn't realize, is sponsored by alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's why I always tell people I'm probably the one person in the beat that you probably shouldn't talk about. I get paid to drink, smoke cigars, and shoot guns.
Okay, well, I was gonna say D.D. Holmes is like my bra size. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Okay.
Standing on business, letting folks know. Okay.
I mean, y'all wanted me to say it. I was just gonna say it. Yeah.
So I got a special guest here. I want to take a pause for the call because I think, again, a lot of us can adopt a better mentality. We need to have an alpha male jacks type of mentality. You need to have more testosterone, more full. And when you get pumped up full of testosterone, you start talking shit. And when we start talking shit, you need a fucking theme song. One of my favorite songs by the thespian rapper by the name of Tupac Shakur was "Hit 'Em Up." He starts off with the shit talk. I'm sorry if you're listening to this in front of your kids, you probably shouldn't. You check the parameters. You shouldn't listen to my show in front of kids. But he starts off with, "That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker." And then it never goes, it just continuously gets worse. Now, we got a guy went viral. His name's Trub. He wants all the trouble. But I need us to embody this kind of song right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring Trub on here. We're gonna talk to him a little bit because I heard that shit. I have had at least 1,000 different people send me this and ask me if I heard this shit. And I'm like, you goddamn right I heard it. So if you guys are wondering how, you don't even got to respond to the other fan bases. All you got to do is go, where's your YouTube at? You got to have a YouTube or something like that, right? You up now, baby?
Oh, me? Yeah. The real Trub life.
Yeah. Go there, play that song on loop, play it before you go to work, play it in your office. Talk to your boss if they're a cane or a gator and just play it for them. It's just saying, man, fuck this shit. But what was the motivation behind that? Because this is a great segue into recruiting. Because I believe if we take some of this mentality in this song, we wouldn't be a bunch of pacified pussies and we wouldn't be getting bitched around. So, talk about the song, what made you do it, and what inspired it.
Well, I'm obviously a No fan. When we got the news, I'm sure like everybody else, we was pissed off. So, I was making phone calls, talking to, other college football fans and, getting their opinion or venting about the situation or this, that, and the third. And I did that for like 2 days straight. The third day, I don't really like to text or type a lot, but I was starting to rant on Facebook. And, I said, fuck it, man, I'm going to do a diss song. But I was just playing at the time. You know what I'm saying? But, it's a lot of people take liking to my rapping, so they kind of took it more serious than I did. And you know, they kind of amped me up in the comments, like, do it, do it. So I took it as a dare, man, and shit. You know, I'm sorry for my language, but I did it, and that was just that because I feel like that would have, it would have been a lot more easier to express myself through music versus me wanting to vent or call people on, and make up a new point as to why we should have got in. And ever since I did that diss song, I never complained again because I feel like I've, you know, said enough or expressed myself enough after that diss song.
Man,
So
can I say one thing? A lot of time people make these songs that they take advantage of the moment of stuff, and it's like a lesser person that isn't that great, and it gets numbers just because of like the material. And I didn't know what to expect when I clicked on that thing, but guys, you got to watch this fucking video. I mean, it's straight bars, just like
Yeah,
every diss against all the different teams. It's so thought out. It's like a Lil Wayne song. You got to listen to it 10 times to catch all the disses, like ad libs on top of ad libs on ad libs. So just,
right.
I had no idea you were coming on. This is awesome, man. So thank you
I,
for coming on.
hey, I appreciate that. And like I said, because of previous things that I put out, I think that you know, my supporters through music on Facebook, they knew that it would be that good. It had the potential to be good, maybe not as good. You know, I always want to exceed expectations. So you know, I put on a beat and man, you know, it was like it was undeniable. Like I couldn't second guess me doing it no more because the thoughts that came right away was like crazy. So I was like, oh no, I need to go to the studio tonight. And I did it. So I knew before y'all even asked this question, it wasn't my plan to go viral. It was just my plan to make a good song and express myself to people amongst the Florida State fan base. But when I made it, I was like, damn, I kind of might have outdid myself on this. So yeah.
so have you been getting any blowback from the ops since you've done this?
Absolutely. Listen, so you know the coolest thing about this all is other fan bases embracing me. You know, I think it's almost weird, but it's like the dopest shit ever. It's like you want to hate the person that's dissing your school, but it's like, damn, it's so good. So you know, I've had a lot of Florida Gators and Miami fans support me, and they say, look, I don't like that you dissed me, but you did good. You snapping. You know, you're doing this. Bama fans are probably the most pissed. If I had to pick a fan base that don't like, you know, and even they're very supportive, but I think they're probably the most mad. And then I was out 2 nights ago, and a guy was like, yeah, man, my cousin from Alabama was like, you can't come here and they gonna do X, Y, and Z. And I thought the shit was funny. So, and I've seen some comments that, you know, geared towards you know, taking it a different route in real life. So, but that shit don't, you know, it is what it is.
That video was dope too, man. I looked like, I don't know, like it was right off MTV or something, like so, all
Yeah,
the way around.
yeah. So when I left the studio, I was kind of playing it modest. This whole time I've been playing it modest, man, only because, you know, it was no real expectations. You know what I mean? So when the first person I sent it to that night, I went to the studio. I just wanted somebody to hear it. He was down south and he said, look, he said, this is gonna go viral. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, this is gonna go viral. That's what everybody else was saying. So so when I did the video, so my thing was if the song did well, just when I put out the audio version, I would do a video. And people don't realize is that once it did go, the audio, the song itself went crazy. I just set up a video shoot, not even knowing who was going to shoot the video. My main camera guy was able to do it, but I just know I needed to shoot the video at the time that it was kind of surfacing everywhere. But the good thing is that we had little time to try to make a dope video within a day. So it came together good.
Isn't it wild?
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
oh no. I was just gonna tell him, like, my mother, she's 81, and she sent me your video like I hadn't seen it yet.
What?
You know? I swear to God. And we live in Memphis. We live in Memphis. So my mother sent me the video and was like, "Have you seen this?" And yes, I have. It's amazing. So she loved it. I think it's
wow, that's dope.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's dope.
yeah.
She's 81.
So,
And she sent it to you.
yes, she sent it to me. I mean, I had already seen it. It's fantastic, but I was very proud of her for having it. But she did send it to me. So you've made it to Memphis. Actually, I'm just letting you know.
Isn't it wild that when you got pressured to do the video and the amount of time that you wanted to do it in within a day, that it turned out as perfect as it did? And then to top that off, I know making it to Memphis that's awesome because we like rap in Memphis. That's what we live on.
Yep.
But to top it off, one of my best friends in Canada, who's a Florida Gators fan, sent me the video asking me if I had seen it. So,
Wow.
and I'm not trying to top no story. I'm just telling you the truth. I thought it was wild that a dude in Canada is telling me about a Florida State diss song to the comedian, etc. So it was an amazing video.
Thank you. And to be honest, I was real particular about the setting. I wanted to do it at a frat house. Like that was my main thing. Like that's me knowing that the A scene or the main scene was going to be in front of a frat house. So it wasn't easy, but maybe after a half a day or a day, you know, I got linked in with the guys that I got linked in with, but you know, I had to do some running around. And I got linked in with the perfect group. I bought them some beer. You know, I got them energetic. You know what I'm saying? I set up in front of their yard, and you know, I think they had a lot to do with, you know, just the energy that of that video. So shout out to them.
You can ask James. White people, all they need is beer, bro. That's all they need.
Listen,
You know,
God
but see,
bless.
that's the funny thing, because I was about to make a liquor store run. I'm like, hey man, I'm about to just set up real quick. Y'all want me some? Y'all want liquor or what? Hey, no, bro, just give me some beer. I was like, all right, shit, cool. So to them, I mean, I had to realize, man, you know, they college kids, you know, they probably on allowance or whatever the case may be. So they were overly appreciative. I left. It was like 3 of them at first. I left, came back, dressed, and you know, before I knew it was like 15 to 20 of them saying, "All right, bro, thanks for the booze. Stand third. Happy as hell to be in the video. Happy as hell to shoot these certain scenes." So, you know, they definitely brought energy to the video.
Shit. Next time you do something, I just want to be in the video.
Nah, for sure. For sure. Are you going to are you going to Miami for the Orange Bowl?
Yes.
You are? I'm thinking about going. I'm thinking about going. And if I do, I may shoot something down there.
There we go, man. Well, appreciate you coming on in here, man. We got to talk about transfer portal a little bit more, talk about some other stuff, man. But anything that you drop, man, make sure we let us know. We'll support it, and we'll keep moving with that, man. But thanks for hopping on here with us for a little bit.
I appreciate y'all. It was good. It's good, y'all.
Right. I'm definitely gonna put the video in the comments for those who are watching it in the description of the video. Right now it's pinned to the top of the comments. But that's the mentality. If you need to know every morning, instead of waking up and arguing with little kids, wake up, listen to that, and then you go attack everybody else when it comes to that, guy. So moving forward, again, as we talked about our recruiting class, we'll delve on this a little bit more. I don't want to go too much into it because one of the things that winners do, we don't punch down, we punch up. But because I have so many different people that will probably watch this channel from different fan bases, I'm not going to get into a full breakdown. I'll probably do that on my Friday show, or I'll take time to do it tomorrow. But it could be worse. When you feel like you're ready to jump off the ledge, you feel like you're ready to end it all because some little 17-year-old boy broke your heart. Like you're a girl who got stood up by her prom date. You could always go look at the University of Florida, and it could always be worse. Oh my goodness, how the mighty have fallen. One of my again, I say there's a Jay-Z bar for everything in life. To quote Jay-Z from his poem, from his epic poem called Takeover, you had a spark when you started, but now you just garbage. Fell from top 10 to not mention at all. Like basically, that's literally describes Florida's entire recruiting class right now. Luckily, they held on to 2 of their 5 stars, but goddamn. What's in the entire fucks is going on in Hogtown? So, any comments on that besides happiness and glee?
Did DJ sign?
I think DJ and LJ both signed it.
Okay. Oh, LJ did sign. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that part. No, I mean, you know what? Hey, good for them. I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
What's the over and under on guys out of this class? Would they sign 23, 24? What's the over and under on how many are in the portal next year when they let go of Napier?
Well, they're gonna fire. Well, I hope they don't fire Napier. I don't want that. I don't want that for him. I want him to be. I want him to be at Florida for as long as he. I want him to see God's plan through. I want him to do and achieve all of the things that the Lord wants him to achieve at the University of Florida. Let him use you. He ain't done with him yet, as the old Southern ladies say at church. So, but Florida. I mean, Miami, obviously. Just thoughts on that. I'm not a hater. I will say they've got a large class with some very, very good stuff at the top of it. But I mean, like 16 goddamn, was it 16 3-stars that they have? Or something like that?
Yeah,
17 3-stars.
And to feed back, them Florida getting to land DJ and LJ, it just further I guess pursues my question. What in the meth hell's going on in Gainesville? How do you get those guys to come to Gainesville when everything else falls apart? I guess the great part of this is that, other than the Gainesville, other than Florida's scientists holding kids in cages over there, maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe that's buying their freedom, the kids that were locked up. I don't know.
What is this, like Escape from Furnace? Like fucking over University of Florida? Holy shit.
These people were keeping their kids in cages for hours.
That was wild.
Like a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old was one of them. I can't.
Oh, man.
All right, I gotta address this because we're gonna talk about Portal and I like C Black. C Black, shout out for the $5 donation earlier today. I'm gonna give you another comment. This is lazy thinking. I want college football playoff every year, which requires elite players on the offensive line and defensive line. I love the way you're thinking, except for the way you're thinking. But we're gonna get into this. Like I did a deep dive because of my guy Seymour Stacks. We talked about this. I think it was last week. We discussed the O-line and the D-line, and we all came to a consensus. Who are the best offensive lines and defensive lines in college football? And there is the Wisconsins, basically, if you look at the top 10, 5 develop, 5 recruit. And Georgia recruits. I've looked at Michigan. Michigan has three 3-stars that are starting on their offensive line and 2 4-stars. University of Wisconsin similar. Iowa has 4 3-stars and one 4-star. I think a lot of the times, and this is where I say like this, we have to stop regurgitating information that is not true. One of the things that we say on this, when placed with facts and data, and that's different from what we feel, we must change our mentality and our thought process, or we are being trivial and childish, and we're just digging down into our thought process. The portal, while I'm not optimal, you want to use that, but here's what I'm going to show you guys, because this was a very, very good thing that I got a chance to look at. 247 is not good for a lot of things, but one thing it is good for is facts and figures and things that you can use. What we have right now is a scholarship distribution and breakdown. In this, you can see exactly what we have. And I would argue with you that if you look at the O-line, we have the offensive tackle and the interior offensive line. We have, well, if you take out Quayshawn Sapp, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have I'm missing a recruit. We have 6, if I remember correctly, guys that are 4-star, which would be considered blue chip prospects. Iowa has 7. Wisconsin has 7. No, Wisconsin has 8. There's actually a tweet that I put out that put down the breakdowns of it. The only team that actually has a better idea of what this is would be your Michigan. Would be your Georgias and your Alabamas of the world. But even Alabama doesn't have a lot of 5 stars. Georgia only has 4 4-stars that start. 5 4-stars that start on their line. You know what the 5-star is? He's the backup, and that's Mims, who we all tried to get from out of the portal. Was it last season or was it 2 seasons ago? No,
Both.
Both. Yeah, I was about to say both.
So it is about development. It's about scheme. It's about a lot of different things. Again, we can talk about it, but when Michigan, who is in their 3rd straight playoff, literally has from a situational perspective, what they've recruited, a worse star system than they have right now, on top of worse recruiting than us, which is wild. People look at this and complain about where Florida State is right now after a 13-win season, right? Where is Michigan's recruiting after 3 straight playoffs? Behind Florida State's. The problem is you're not arguing from a standpoint of being proud of your university. You're arguing from a standpoint of wanting to argue with 7-5 and 5-7 Twitter. You're arguing with people. The problem with social media right now is that, and it could be in this right here, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular. I want you to be proud of what it is. But the problem with most of us who were born in the 80s, went to school in the 90s, or even if you were born earlier than that, we talked about this on Big Games BS about slow learning disability and different things like that nature. We were broken down into 3 classes. Some of us were in honors, some of us were in regular classes, and some of us were in classes that did not rotate, that had the hats with the propellers on the top of it, and you had your helmets, and you rode a bus that had 4 people in it. And the problem is we're all in one classroom now, and we're arguing about this. We're arguing about things that we have absolutely no idea about. And on this show, what I like to do is I talk to people from a standpoint to try to make this as simple as possible and educate. And when I educate, I'm talking from I never discuss things that I do not know about. And the problem is too many people on social media. It's not just in sports. It's got the podcast bros. We got all kinds of other stuff. Too many people talk about things that they're just not ready to talk about, or that they don't know about, and they feel like if I'm loud enough and I scream enough, people will believe me. Or if I speak with distinction, people will believe me. And that's just not the case. And for those who continue to say that our offensive line is not good, while it could be better, you do not average 420 to 450 yards a game and have an ass offensive line. It's fucking impossible. That's just the truth. Now, my guy Reggie talking about, man, God damn it, Reggie. I hate my friends. They come in here and they start trolling shit, saying random stuff. But it's not a bad compliment, Steve Black, but I'm only talking about that because it is segueing us into the transfer portal. And I actually think we need to get there first. But let's talk about the quarterback situation, because that is something that we did. While we did address it in recruiting, we've addressed it in the last 3 classes, even though AJ Duffy is leaving. What about this room do we think we need to address moving into the portal season? Because now we can be highly fucking strategic.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've talked about this a ton. I was going to let one of the other guys go, so I'll just be quick. We've been back and forth between Cam Ward. The way I look at it, I think Cam Ward is kind of your highest potential, your highest ceiling, with a greater potential if things could kind of go wrong. You might lose a game you shouldn't on account of some turnovers if you don't have the line protect them the way they should. DJ, I'm not going to try. He might could do a better job of holding the ball, not giving it up. If something does go wrong, be able to hold that thing and take a hit and keep on going. But I just feel like the upside is with Cam Ward, and I think it's why this decision is kind of drug out. I'm just ready for it to be over, and for Mike Norvell to pick or whatever the case may be. I know Chris has some intel on that.
Hold on, before we bring Chris to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, we have Charles Jr. Wilson, aka his dad's name's Chuck. With Dope Talk, he has joined the chat. I'm back, Chris. I know you were about to talk. I just wanted to introduce Charles.
Well, first off, CJ, I watched your show and I really enjoyed you having the Miami gentleman in the Florida State shirt reminding me of the bet. That was much appreciated. I still got to make good with my bet. I got a Miami helmet I got to put up. But anyways, I go with the negatives when it comes to the two portal quarterbacks. DJ Iguangulele is the epitome of just failing in big game situations. I don't have a problem with him other than that, and also him being Clemson blooded. So if he comes into Florida State and he gets the blood transfusion of garnet and gold and gets rid of the orange and white, I'll deal with him because I think Mike will get better out of him than anybody else, including Tony Tokarts. So I'm fine with him if he does come to Florida State. I think that your floor is much lower with him than your floor is with Cam Ward due to experience. But I also believe that with Cam Ward, your ceiling's a lot higher based off of the attributes that he brings to the table with a big arm. He's also got the ability to move the pocket, extend plays in a better way. Not that DJ can't. It's just I think that Cam does a better job of it in the short period of time that he's been on the field. But as far as Cam goes, his biggest issues are fumbling the ball. They say that he carries the ball like Michael Vick, which is true, but Michael didn't turn the ball over that much because he just knew when to take off and run. The biggest issue with Cam Ward fumbling the ball as much as he did is his offensive line had no idea how to protect him. It's unfortunate that he's had 30 turnovers in 2 seasons, but the outlook on that is that you clean that up with Tony Tokarts and Mike Norvell. It is a habit that you got to get rid of, but Mike seems to know how to do a really good job. If you've noticed how much J-Trav improved over the years on not throwing interceptions, on not fumbling the ball when he took off running, et cetera, and moving forward. I'm not saying that you have as much time with Cam as that you did with J-Trav, but I think that you now, kind of configuring that those two have a play type that's similar, that you could get more out of Cam Ward than you've seen out of him. But the greatest point of all of this is I think that Florida State can get the best out of either one of them that you've seen them play in college. I think that they will play the best of their college football here at Florida State, regardless of which one you get.
Yeah, I think Cam right now, a lot of people are thinking this between us and us and Miami. I actually believe that it's between us and the NFL. That's my personal belief. I know Cam is really weighing his options when it comes to that. I do know, Miami feel like they're getting everybody, and I can't really, right now they're feeling themselves, so I can't even really necessarily blame them. I would prefer him not go to Miami, though. I think he would be somebody that could make them go pretty good on that. But I like him or DJ Ukulele. I learned how to say his name once he gets here, if he ever gets here. But we definitely need a stopgap guy to be able to light a fire. But the cool thing in all of this is we'll find out what we got in Brock and Tate over here. Like, they still have quite some time to be able to practice, get better. Unfortunately, it kind of stinks that you got to get baptized by fire. Georgia is, from what people are telling me, their guys are similar. Their seniors are in a similar situation that a lot of our guys are, kind of waiting to see. Like, we've got some guys opt out. There's still quite a few that are still trying to wait to see who's going to be around. It's really tearing at a couple of them because they're still upset that they didn't get in the playoff, but they want to leave on a higher note. And the goal for a lot of them coming back was not just a national championship, but to leave Florida State in a better position than what they found it in. And I think a lot of those guys are having internal battles with that. But if Tate comes in, takes ownership, and actually learns how to make decisions under fire, it could lead to a very, very fun spring. And trust me, a lot of content. because everybody's going to write an article, and there's going to be 1,000 updates about the quarterback competition. But I think, but I think it's really between what Cam wants to do and then DJ's kind of sitting in the wings waiting, because both of those guys want to go to places where they feel like they could be on a playoff contender now. But I do know the little signing day drama leads a little bit with the situation that just happened with Jeremiah Smith may lead a little bit of stuff with that. I guess we'll go George, Chris, Jen, then CJ. If you had your pick, which one would you like, George?
Of the quarterbacks? I'm sorry. Yeah. I said Cam earlier. I feel like, Cam's the guy that can take you all the way, and I think that's ultimately what the staff wants to go. And I'll be quick. I'll just say Cam.
All right, Chris.
The only reason that I would – this one's hard for me, but the only reason that I would pick Cam is because I think you also have to throw in the additive of the majority of the ACC conference understands who DJ Uiagalelei is. So I think they're going to learn. They would know better how to defend him than Cam. And I think Cam brings a little bit more speed than what DJ does as far as the run game goes. But I could be completely wrong. I think that Mike will get it right, but that's who I would pick as Cam.
Jen?
I think everybody knows my pick. My pick is DJ. I can't wait for him to beat up on Dabo. I can't. So, and I get it. It's not a football reason, but I'm petty, and that's where I'm going.
All right. CJ.
Yeah, for me, I guess number one to beat Cam. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer either way. But a couple of reasons. I think Cam has more big play potential, like we talked about, just the arm, lively arm, especially with the receivers and playmakers we have. It's a lot of big play potential within Cam. And also, if we get Cam, that 100% assures that, Miami gets left out and end up getting, someone like a KJ Jefferson or something of that nature. Like you stated, he probably is debating NFL as well. But if we get DJU, it's still a possibility of them going to Miami. So I feel like that'll cripple them even further. But I'm cool with DJ as well. Just speaking to people at Clemson, they feel like DJ's issues was necessary more so the previous staff versus, DJ himself. And as we all know, that offensive staff did get fired after that season and ended up hiring Riley from TCU. So they feel like DJ would have been an actual better fit for Clemson this year, but that's neither here or there. But I do think what we do, we'll get the best out of either option. But I think Cam, just from like you said, higher ceiling, more big play potential. But I think the offense will be as fluid and run just as good with DJ as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like Cam attacking, pushing the ball down the field. But I think DJ brings an element with the run game that we were all begging Jay Trav to do at one point until it might have derailed our season. Running backs, I love our running back room. So give me Wade Toa ran in the ACC championship. I wanted to see more Keziah. I like Sam Singleton, and give me Cam and Makai. I think this spring should be interesting. In the wide receiver room, do we add in the portal? How many guys do you think we attack in the portal? And what are your thoughts on the wide receiver room currently?
First, I like the room overall, to be honest with you. A lot of potential, like the young guys and a couple second-year guys too. Jacobs and Hakeem, we see them take some big steps forward. I do say a guy like Evan Stewart, that's a guy you got to go all in for, in my opinion. You should put all of your chips in the hat for a guy like that. Try to get him out of the portal. But just from a number standpoint, one for sure, and I think it has to be a guy like that. I like the room. The room has potential. But yeah, I think one. And it has to be a guy that has, proven experience for sure, not just a guy that has potential. Like, we don't have to take Johnny Wilson right now. That turned out great for us, but, we don't have to take that right now. It has to be a guy that, has proven potential that can come in and play right away, because I do like what we have from a talent standpoint. But a guy like Evan Stewart, take him and I'll be done at receiver.
Without a doubt, agree with that. You got a guy that one of the things that we were missing this year We hope to have that with Destin Hill as he gets more comfortable. I think a lot of people's expectations and hopes were a little bit too high for him, considering he hasn't played football in like 2 or 3 years?
2.
It'd been quite some time. And we need that guy to take the top off of the defense. Evan can come in, or a guy like Evan can come in and automatically give you that playmaker. He's a former track guy, not just one of those sprinters too. He's a guy long jump, 100 meter, 200 meter, sub 22. While that's not going to necessarily win you in the Olympics, it is very, very fast for a true football player. So getting him in there, mixing him with Keem, who we see is big and fast. One of the things I think a lot of people forget is Keem was that guy last year, last recruiting cycle, and you've got a roster with young guys that it's time for them to take that step up. And then what we need to do is we need to see what Portier, Williamson, or Span or Deuce are going to do. You got crap or Megamind as well. Kai Douglas, you got crap and get off the pot. But with Keem, Vontravious Jacob, Destin, and with this haul that we're bringing in this class, you bring in another guy that could be. Now you're looking at from an offensive perspective, you're looking very similar to what we had in the 2022 season. Like nobody believed Johnny was going to do what he was going to do, and nobody thought that Trey was going to do what he did. Those guys came in. Now you got your Keziah, you've got your newcomers in that running back. But I think running back is one of those positions where you can have a freshman come in and truly get what you need to get. Any other wide receivers that are kind of out there in the portal, Jen, Chris, or George, that you guys are thinking about, or what are your thoughts on that position group?
Well, I mean, I liked Juice Wells, obviously, but he went to Ole Miss. So I'd like to see who else South Carolina has or who they might get, recruiting-wise this year. And then maybe they can get developed, and then we can bring them on. But I don't know. The USC kid, wasn't there a USC wide receiver that came in? All jokes aside,
Mario Williams.
Yep. I kind of like him. Yeah. Sorry, Chris, did I make you laugh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
Not because of who you picked, just because of what you said about USC. To me, the guy that you would take has not entered the portal yet. I think that I like who CJ picked. I would love to have him and put all the eggs in the basket for him. I just don't know if we're going to do so because of maybe what he's required money-wise. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would love for that to happen. It would be great. But there's a young man that I think enters the portal in the spring that Florida State wished he would enter now, so they go ahead and take him. But I'm not going to throw his name out there because he hasn't entered the portal yet. But I really like the aspects of taking one. The only way I think you take two is if it's just one of those guys. Like it has to be
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, he has to be super productive for you to take two. But as far as the wide receiver position, as far as what we've got, Hakeem, Vendrivius Jacobs, and et cetera, I think Vendrivius is going to end up being a bigger impact player than most people think. I think his name will stand out more than most anticipate just because he's not Hakeem Williams. Not that Hakeem Williams will not be an electric player and make big plays, because I think that he will. The kid's an alien. But Vendrivius is being slept on by a lot of people. He made some extremely nice catches when he was able to play in games. And I think that Vendrivius is right up there with Hakeem. Just size-wise, he's not there, but he's quicker. More agility, that is. I won't say that he's faster in the front run speed, but he's definitely a quicker, twitchier guy. So I think that we're really good at wide receiver, more so than people think.
Yeah, I really, really agree with what y'all said, and just kind of put it and just to say it a different way. When you look at the roster, Florida State basically has in spades everything you want out of a wide receiver room, everything except for a returning frontline true number one, compete for top wide receiver of the year type of guy. So that's why I like CJ Stewart says you go all in on Evan Stewart. Chris is talking about a guy that possibly moves forward, but outside of that, I don't think you get anyone. Maybe if some, and the same thing, if a special just out of this world tight end came forward, you would do the same thing, because same thing with the tight end room. You've got young talent coming in. You've got returning freaks of nature, just not a ton of experience at being a top college football player. So it would have to be one of those dudes, and you probably you don't take anybody. It's probably the most likely scenario. But if Keon Coleman hits, snatch him up.
Real quick, appreciate you, Bobby. I see you on all kind of other shows right here. Bobby asked, was the KJ flip an actual surprise? I legit believed he was locked in, but now he's saying he knew 3 weeks ago that he was flipping while leading the staff on. Anybody want to make a comment on that?
I was actually going to ask that because I saw that comment and I had heard a bunch of people say that. I haven't seen the story, so I haven't seen a link. But yeah, I was actually going to ask other people about the same exact thing. So I haven't seen it though.
Anybody got any insight on that?
What was that again?
Was KJ really a surprise, or he talked about he knew he was going to Georgia 3 weeks ago?
I mean, from the staff perspective, they were surprised for sure. I mean, that's why I feel like we gotta have more self-awareness in these situations, man. As far as just reading the room. Like people say, this is what 3 years in a row we get left at the altar, so to speak, at signing day. You got to read the room a little bit and just read the tea leaves. I don't know, maybe that's getting somebody, getting more people on the ground that's more in tune within these situations and something like that really give you a true gauge where these kids are leaning versus their word. But yeah, just from all the things I was hearing, this staff was pretty much, all in on him being a part of this class. So yeah, it definitely came as a surprise, but of course, wasn't a surprise to him and his family. They definitely been, weighing the options for sure. I guess the tea leaves have been there with the visits they've been taking, but they've been saying the right things as well also. So, but again, I do think that we got to be better at reading the room and just, not being, I guess, to be frank, gullible in certain situations.
Yeah. And we'll dedicate anybody who's not in the class after that. Bobby, I know you weren't trolling. Bobby's been really, really good on a lot of different shows. That's why I took the question. Here's the reality. Can't let kids play in your face is something we say in our group chat a lot. And one thing I have a young man who's committed in the class of 2025. He's not playing in the face, but he does like watching football games and doing different things. And I told him as long as he takes visits, they have the opportunity to be able to shop. You stop taking visits, then they need to stop. Then they'll probably stop shopping. You truly shut that down. But I do think they need to do a better job of having first, second, and third options. There should be guys that you're continuing having relationships with and talking to where if something does happen, you're not surprised. You're ready to be able to make that change.
But see, that's tough too at the same time because you're pretty much
surprised or not, they did it. So.
No, when I said, I mean, like, I guess you get left at altar on signing day. Them kids coming in with decisions as well too, and commitments and things like that. So you kind of double back at the last minute. It's a catch-22, man. It's tough. It's
definitely a catch-22. It's all business. I think when you step back and you look at it as business, I think what we're learning, even as now no longer really, I mean, a former player always, but a fan nonetheless. You can't take any of this stuff personally. All you can do is want the guys who want to be a part of your program. And but the minute that I hear he's going on a visit to Auburn, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to get. It's kind of like what happened with Farmer in the Spaces and his family. I asked two very direct questions, and I didn't want a lot of answers, a lot of words in it. Just basically it was yes or no, 3-word questions. He answered it, and as I told people, I was like, now you can either take him at his word and believe him. You can feel like he's you can feel like he's lying to you and then not believe him, or you can feel like he's full of shit and just just ride it out. Those are the 3 things that you could do. The minute I heard that he's entertaining Auburn to Georgia is the minute that I'm making sure we talk to Matt, we talk to other different players to make sure we test the market with them. But that's also why you got to continue to have a relationship with. But I do believe this, that the staff felt like KJ Bolden was the icing on the cake on a top DB room. So I think they may have got a little bit reckless with the gambling on that and did not solidify that. But I want to go talk about these interior lines real quick. Do we take any transfer portal people across the offensive line, guards, or tackles?
I don't see it.
Or do
tackle-wise, it depends. It depends on the person. If I guess tackle-wise, it depends on who actually enter. You had that Elijah, whatever the kid's name is, from Alabama, the kid that we finished second with a couple years ago when he flirted a little bit. That's a guy I'm 100% sure the staff would have went after. So name-wise, yeah, we would definitely get active. It depends on, the person.
Depends on who enters. It feels like they're not out there
Yeah.
right now,
I
but
mean,
maybe somebody later on.
Like Pritchard got in and then got right back out.
I don't think he actually just put
just put out the I'm going to enter or whatever. But yeah, that would be I don't know. I don't really see it right now. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has anybody.
I mean, at the same time, man, we recruited these guys for a reason. A couple of years ago, we brought in a lofty offensive line class. We feel pretty good with, from all accounts about our Maryland and stuff like that. Has to show at some point. So I wouldn't be opposed to Lucas Simmons. He was a guy that was highly recruited as well. So I wouldn't be opposed to, starting to roll out our actual recruits and making something shake with the guys we felt pretty confident in a couple of years ago. And also, I think we don't even lose any starters across the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. Meach is probably the only one.
That's about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you bring back pretty much everyone. The young guys come in and compete. If it's not a guy that's directly standing out in the portal, I don't see us getting too active with it.
Robert Scott will be back. There was a question in the comments. Robert Scott will be back. We hope he stays healthy. That's the biggest thing with Rob, just keeping him healthy. I don't think that you attack the offensive line unless, like everybody's saying, unless just that guy enters and it just lifts your floor that much more. I mean, the only reason that you do. I think offensive line's in a much better situation than people are giving it credit for as well. I don't. If we needed it, I'd say, shit, we need to go get some guys. We're hurt. We need this. We need that because so and so's leaving. But when you've got the majority of your offensive line returning,
I mean, we did that. We've done that before too.
Yep, you're right.
So we've done that before.
Now, Chris, Rob Scott is listed as a freshman here on 247. Is it because of the COVID year, a med red and a regular red shirt? That's wild.
No, they're definitely tripping with that shit.
Yeah, I don't know how that would be possible. Regardless,
no, that's wrong.
He's like a red shirt COVID junior or something.
Yeah, because he came in with Mike's first class, that transition class.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
they just ain't updating that something because that can't be. Yeah, nope.
So we got right here. Obviously, this is probably the weakest area that we had with recruiting is the defensive line. We've got D.D. Holmes who's a 4-star in some places and 3-star. Obviously, they have not updated Blunt. But I know Aaron Hester. We got a good bunch of guys that are potentially hitting the portal or gone. Io's not here anymore. But how many guys do we need to take here on across the line, or do we just kind of roll with what we got?
I think the beauty is that there isn't much of a need on too much of a spot. I think if you could bring in another guy like Fisk, you do. If there's that, we already got our stud D end, so I just think they just got to hit. Is my thing. I think there's more names to come later on, and that could become a conversation. But there's just nobody out there that they're in love with. That's why they let Okunlolia and Kennard go without any, crazy. They didn't just let those guys walk for no reason. They knew they had Marvin Jones Jr. and they've got a level of player there that's been developing that they're pretty happy with.
No, I think we got to get active at the edge of our position, especially losing Blunt. Which I didn't foresee 16 years old. Didn't foresee him playing that much to begin with as well. I'm also pretty high as well on Jaden Jones. You guys got to remember before he injured his knee, he was the number one JUCO player. Well, he still was. I think he was the number one JUCO defensive lineman in the country, top 5 JUCO player overall. He has a ton of potential that can be unlocked, but we got to get production off the edge. Even with Marvin Jones, still have to actually see all the physical tools that they're got to put everything together. Defensive tackle wise, I think we're actually fine if we do in fact keep Josh Farmer. I think the defensive tackle room could be an actual strength for us. Sampson is a kid that the staff is pretty high on. Of course, Lions just keeps getting better and better. I think losing Ray gave us some pretty good minutes this year, pretty good snaps this year. Understand trying to get a bigger role. But defensive tackle, if it's like a guy that enters the portal, I can see us taking him. I'm pretty happy with the defensive tackle room, but I do think we gotta get more out of the edge position.
I guess my question would be, is there anybody out there that you think to take second team snaps for Florida State on the market?
No, but the beauty of that is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon with that. So I mean, it's a long.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree.
I think
Somebody
we passed
hits
on
for
those
sure.
guys. I think the guy I'll take any Pitt defensive lineman as a starter. I'm taking them just because of what they've been able to do in the past. We'll see more things in there, but I think that's a place where we're going to look for. If we're looking for 1 to 2 DNs, and at least I don't think we can have enough D tackles, especially when you think about the rotation that we had this year when Fisk between Farmer, Fisk, Fabo, and I'll even be able to add. That's why Malcolm Ray was able to be effective at times this year, because he wasn't like that. He was really like that second or third guy that could come in on that rotation and be able to do different things. Now, I will say we get better
last year.
Jackson coming in. We didn't have Jackson last year, but you got Farmer, Jackson. I think Sampson is somebody who, while we haven't seen him at Florida State, I just remember meeting him that spring right when he committed. I'm talking about kids got a huge frame. And then you know how you look at the mama and the daddy, and the daddy's big as a doorway. So that just let me know that this kid's got even more places to grow. But that's probably the one, while it stinks, and I want our recruiting to get better there, I cannot argue with the production. And, until – and that's the thing that I really want everybody to take a step back and look at. It's not that we don't have things that we need to work on. Everybody has things that you should work on. But goddamn, one thing we've done is hit on portal cats. And one thing that Odell and Papuchas can both do, you even hear me, CJ, you remember I never said that motherfucking name right, but he been hitting, he been producing. Is their development. I don't know how I could be a D lineman, and the best recruiting that I would show is I would show the Louisville game, and I would just walk away. Like, that was a defensive line masterclass. Like, Fisk played like a man with his hair on fire. Jared Verse did the thing where he did all of those different things, and I really enjoyed even the Florida game. I really enjoyed what those guys brought to the table. Where I also think we could use a good overhaul in is the linebacker room. I think we're losing a ton of production in Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune. Say what you will about DJ Lundy, but DJ Lundy has been coming in and providing something the last few years. But I do like what Blake Nicholson is doing, and I think I liked some of the times when I saw with Cryer. I think Blake Nicholson can be what your Deloach was as far as coverage, or I would say not Deloach, but your Deloach type linebacker. And I'd say Cryer would be your thumper. OJ Graham and some of these other guys got to get a little bit. This Brown Turner guy, I don't even know why we brought him in, but OJ Graham's a little banged up. But we don't have enough depth here, even bringing in the freshmen. So they're going to have to find something there. We didn't bring up MJJ is one of the defensive ends that we are bringing. He is going to play DN for us, but we're not going to try to experiment with him at linebacker, right?
Hell no.
Okay.
No, not in this fucking defense.
That's the same. That's one of the main reasons he got away from Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah. And Pat Surtain is the guy. So we're not even gonna
I'm not even saying that. Yeah.
Linebacker, that's the one spot where, man, if we could bring in a guy or two that are really experienced dudes to really and help Blake Nicholson and these young guys come along, that would be huge. And we got Tatum Bethune a couple years ago. It would really be nice to hit the jackpot on linebackers too.
No, like James said, those three, you lose a lot of production with those three, a lot.
Big time. And it's really a kick in the nuts to lose Lundy for him to approve to become that much of and even if he's not going to be a star, he could have been a great third guy for you again next year. To lose him, it's that's a ton of production.
Has he officially hit the portal, or is it just a talk of hitting the portal?
He recently officially hit.
He officially hit it, okay. So with all of this being said, one of the biggest knocks that is coming out is, and we're seeing fans again, reactionary stuff again. As I tell men, let's take a step back, let's breathe. Check your testosterone levels before you start doing stuff. Our collective and our involvement with the collective. How do you guys feel about what we were doing with the battles in, and do we feel like there's actually there's some tweaks that we need to happen, or is it just really one of those things where we just have a evaluation on certain positions and we just don't go over our evaluation?
In my opinion on this, when you get in certain battles, right? When you're entertaining certain recruits, when you want a certain level of a recruit, you got to come in there all hands on deck. Simple as that. You got to come in all hands on deck. Like a Jeremiah Smith, for example. You can have a set number on that, but if you want a player, nothing is too expensive for what you really want, right? Nothing is out of your price range for what you really want. So you can have a number for a guy like Jeremiah Smith, but you got to understand, like, it's going to be other people coming as well, and they're going to raise their prices, that, another. So with guys like that, if you're going to invest resources in them, you got to be ready to compete to the final hour for those type of guys.
Okay. The other part, I think and I've said this on some other shows, is a lot of fans have been clamoring for a salary cap when it comes to football. And they're like, this is out of hand. This is this, but then we'll bitch about possibly being outbid. And I'd argue that, we want to, it ain't that we don't want to compete. We just have other holes to fill, and maybe we hit our salary cap. And one of the things that I think everybody's not realizing is that this isn't a 1-year deal. Like, can you, and I don't want to count other people's money. Maybe they do have an unlimited checkbook at some places, but can you pay, let's say hypothetically, I'll use the numbers that everybody uses all the time. Say it's $1.1 million, right? $1 million. Can you pay one prospect $1 million his freshman year before he's proven anything, and then pay the guy next year? Because every year there's a Jeremiah. Don't get me wrong, Jeremiah Smith is dope, but every year there's a can't miss wide receiver. Every year there's a guy they call a generational. Like, they've been saying the quarterback of every year since before I played, was a generational talent. Can't miss. I remember Ryan Perilou. A lot of y'all don't know who the fuck Ryan Perilou is. Ryan Perilou was said to be the best.
LSU, yep.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up playing at Jacksonville State.
Yep.
When it was all said and done. Can you, with Jeremiah, if he's worth $1 million as a freshman, what happens when he catches for 500-600 yards? Is he worth $2 million? I'm not taking a pay cut. I'm going to go get more money. Can you pay him $2 million? I mean, I'm not here to judge it, and I'm not here to say that I don't want the guy. What I'm saying is maybe the market dictates. Maybe the market corrected itself here.
How much would Jeffrey Luck have demanded back in the day?
Jeff Luck was cold. It's a lot of guys that were cold. But again,
there'd have been millions offered to him out of high school.
Hey, have y'all seen this Guidry tweet yet? Have y'all seen it?
What the drunk talking about?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm about to repost it. I think y'all are all about to fall out of your chairs when you see it.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Were you talking about the Dan Mullen tweet?
No, Lance Guidry.
Oh Lord. Oh, okay. Dan Mullen did pretty good on him too. That one.
I loved, Dan Mullen has my heart right now, so I'm not going to say anything about him.
He threw up the comparison of the recruiting rankings, and of course, all 4 of his were better. And he's like, "Damn, I wish I had them facilities when I was at Florida." Them boys.
And he put up and then he put up the drink of his margarita. I love him right now.
Yeah,
I want to comment a little bit on I think everybody's. I don't know, man. Look, as far as the money goes at the Battle's End, I know somewhat what they've got, but I think the issue becomes, regardless, and I'm not going to use Jeremiah Smith because I think Jeremiah is going to be an exceptional player. But there are other guys that we missed out on because we weren't willing to pay them what they were asking for. Here's the issue. When you go and buy, let's say you go buy a Lamborghini, which is in a similar range of $1 to $2 million. If that car ends up being a lemon, you can pretty much get your money back or another car. The issue when you pay someone $1 million based off of we're not supposed to be paying for play. That's not supposed to be what this is. But I mean, realistically, that's what it is. The issue becomes: do you pay a freshman $1 million and he becomes a lemon? You don't get any of that money back. You can't return that player. You can lose him and push him throughout the portal, but that $1 million is never going to be a return. So is that the way that they're thinking about it? It's the question that I have. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when it becomes, no offense to the white folks, because white people are gonna think like white people. And white people have always put a price tag on each and everything that they buy. Sometimes if you've got a guarantee, like I know that when I buy this bottle of vodka and I drink it, I'm going to get drunk. The satisfaction from that is going to happen. If I go and get this 17-year-old kid to be my X, Y, or Z player, and that does not happen, then I don't get the good feeling that does go away, but I also don't get the return of the money that I spent on it. And that shit happens in other things too. I'm just using examples of what's a sure thing versus a questionable thing. Now, if there was a kid that was out there that was more sure than anybody, it would definitely be Jeremiah. I think you could bet that kid's going to be productive at any point in time of his career. So I'm with CJ when he says all hands on deck. And I think people are looking at that as just pay whatever it is that he asked for. I don't think that's what CJ is exactly saying. I think people took that and misconstrued it. What he's saying is that you got to know what these guys are doing. You have to be able to fill them out. So I think what CJ is saying, and I agree with, and James and I have talked about this a lot. And I know CJ and James have probably talked about this a lot. We need somebody that knows how to talk to the kids, that understand the lingo, that can go back and forth and mediate. Hey, this is what James has done it a couple of times. I've done it a couple of times. And I would put CJ up for the job in a heartbeat because they understand each other. And CJ can go to whoever this is that battles in and say, look, this is what this kid wants. It's this simple. We don't have to make it hard. And it's not always the amount of coming right then. It's we can simplify it for everyone. So I think that's more like what CJ was saying. You need to bring those people in that understand each other and can mediate this, because I think there's a disconnect when it comes to these white businessmen and these young black men that are getting into business. It's just different. And I think we speak a different language.
Yeah, I definitely don't mean just, pay whatever. All I'm saying is, you're going to invest in these type of players from a recruiting standpoint. You got to understand, you got to come correct in the business standpoint as well. Simple as that. But like James said, you get into a bidding war and numbers get outrageous, then that's just what it is. You can't do that. Simple as that. Good luck to you in getting that from, whatever program that may be.
He deleted it, guys. He deleted the post. He deleted the post.
I just saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yikes. I mean, that's a bad look. I don't care which way you want to do it. Like, I get what he was saying.
Should have put a game you won.
Yeah, it gave me one. Okay, guys, if you hadn't seen it, he put up a picture of a sack on Jordan Travis was that this year? It wasn't this year, was it?
Yeah, because
it was.
That linebacker's
okay. So it was this year. Okay, but he put up a picture and it's like, but y'all lost the game.
Yeah,
you can't this is just gross.
So one of the things, like right now, there's a spaces going on right now. A good friend of mine. I'm getting texts from him. Doc. Shout out to my homegirl Erin. Go back to college days. Shout out to my guy Crow 13, or as y'all might know, Crow 31 for your Jets. And here is one of the problems that I have with this, and why I'm not necessarily overly upset. I don't pocket watch. I hate when people do that. And I think one of the problems is people throw around numbers that make absolutely no sense. There's 500,000. Like, it's not her. It's a disgruntled mother whose son did not make our class because she felt offended that her son was offered a number in 38,000. He would have been in this class I forgot. I don't know where they signed, but I know they went elsewhere. And you know, she's mad at Florida State because Florida State offered her X, but nobody else offered her what she felt was her worth. And now she's saying she knows for a fact that certain players got certain numbers, which I guess technically now they were on our roster. Like she's saying, like Jaheim at $500,000. She knows that that Jordan Travis made $1 million plus or whatever from Battles In and these different things, and which I guess actually speaks to the strength. Maybe our collective isn't as bad as what everybody's saying if these numbers are true. I never confirm nor deny if things are true or not, but sometimes you might avoid situations because people get jealous over things that they should not get jealous of. So I think we should all take we should take a step back and say maybe if we know it's something with the issue with the parents and we know some things are going, maybe the drama's not worth it. That's my life. I've been successful that way. So, but on that note, we've been here for quite some time. Can we just give some drops? George, talk about what you got going, what you got going on. That since George and Jen do their thing together, I'll let Jen go after that, and then Chris and CJ, if you don't mind. You're on mute, George.
Rookie mistake. You can check us out right here on YouTube at the Renegade Report. Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Tuesday and Fridays, we usually roll around 7, 8 o'clock. Sundays, we do an earlier show around noon. We've got all kind of stuff in the bank. We had Kadarian Jones on talking about the climb and kind of what it's really like in this Mike Norvell situation. So go check out all that stuff. We had Zach Smith on the other day, of course. You guys are always on with us. Tons of fun content over there. We're trying to get to 2,000 subs, and just appreciate you having us on, man.
I appreciate you. George, I'll probably go ahead and drop y'all off one by one. Thank you for coming on, George. Jen, what you got?
About the same thing as George. I think the Sunday show with Zach was really fun. And with Kendarius Jones, it was so fun. He had such a good insight on Mike. Y'all, please go listen. Anything you guys like. I mean, I don't know. Just go watch it. He was such a great guest and can give you such good insight to Mike. So just go give it a watch. And Sunday, we're just going to be live at noon. So there we go.
All right, cool. Appreciate you, Jen. Go follow Renegade Report with Jen. Oh, yeah. I don't like how that looked. All right, there we go. All right. What's going on, Chris?
Man, the same old shit. Just doing show after show with everybody else and then trying to squeeze mine in. Mondays and Fridays are shit. Listen to me. Mondays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sundays at 4:30 p.m. we have a call-in show most of the time. That's been switched a little bit. The call-in show is going to go away. It's going to be a Discord space for the members at about the same time. That's all I got going right now.
All right, man. Cool. Make sure y'all go check out my bro with Sporadics. I'm on that show Mondays and Thursdays as well. He drops all kinds of content. Appreciate you, Chris, for coming on. Thank you again. Thank you always. I'm pretty sure we'll talk probably sometime tomorrow. And my brother CJ Wilson with Dope Talk. Talk to us, baby.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Dope Talk, man. Got all kind of content, FSU specific, of course, covering recruiting, just games, day-to-day games. We're about to get into the all season, so the bag is going to be a little bit different. Going to be having interviews with former players, Antonio Cromartie, those type of guys, Brian McFadden's, Profonso Thorpe, just former players, just to hear their old stories. Recruiting, whatever it may be, old stories, playing at FSU. You guys love those. Bobby Bowden, Mickey Andrews, those type of stories in regards to the practice battles, biggest games, whatever it may be. Just going to bring those guys on, hang out a little bit. And, of course, anything breaking news, recruiting-wise, transfer portal, it's definitely about to crank up within these next few weeks, especially for the portal for FSU. So go ahead and subscribe to Dope Talk. We'll take care of you.
All right, man. Appreciate you, brother, for coming on, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
And last but not least, guys, appreciate you guys for joining us here for hour and 3/4. Hopefully we cleared up some stuff. Class is actually pretty good, all things considered. Listen, man, it's the holiday season. Make sure you're taking care of your family. Stop getting engaged and all this other bullshit. Remember, always punch up, don't punch down. Currently, we're 100 subs away from 4,000. Let's try to get this done before Friday so that we can bless somebody with $400 to be able to go do your holiday shopping. If not, we'll keep rolling it. Consider becoming a member. Memberships go from $3.99 all the way up to $99. We do a lot of stuff in the community. We'll have some good things for members starting in the new year, some different things. And anybody knows with that all-in membership, Vegas is coming up in February. The combine in the middle of February. The combine is up at the end of February. And if you want to know what being an all-in member and why it's important to do those type of things, go check out my shorts and stuff like that on IG, and you'll see what it's like to party with me for the Super Bowl and for the combine and any other type of different things. So on that note, man, go hug. I'm gonna start doing like the Jerry Springer shit. Take care of yourselves and each other. 1.